talking about that?
When I first started coming out here, I just felt like, wow, it's like a secret. It has a kind of a country feel, I feel like. It has a rural feel, but it's by the ocean. So for a kid like me that grew up in inner city Philadelphia and then lived in the, inner city Boston, those are the only two places I lived my whole life. And then to move out here to like a small town and the community is, the people, everything is just such a great new change in my life. I love it.
It's beautiful. Beautiful thing.
Wow, this is awesome. Ben, it's like, you want to do this? No, I don't want to do this. Can't do that. Okay, yeah, this is it. What? Are you kidding me?
So you usually go in at the hinge. I like my favorite Dexter 22. It's a Boston style knife made in Massachusetts, and go in from the hinge, and you do a little wiggle until it kind of holds on there, and then once it's in there enough, you do the final twist that opens the hinge, follow the shell up to the adductor muscle. So you come out here and go fishing. That's cool that you already know this area.
Yeah, this is I first, just about a year now. I came out not this summer, the summer before. Fishing buddy of mine hit me to it, and yeah, it's a pretty magical place. As you can see, the tide's just about dead low right now.
Yep.
And in a couple hours, this will all be covered in water, and right here will be
over your head.
Yeah.
Deep. It's incredible. It's one of the biggest tides in the world. 10 feet tide.
Wow.
It's incredible.
And the water will just start rushing in, and with the water for a couple more weeks right now, well, kind of the end of it, but the stripers come in here, and I guess they like to feed around all in the shallows, and so it's pretty cool. You'd be out here, and then the stripers start moving, and it's pretty awesome to get to watch them.
I love that you celebrate life in so many different ways. You with your art, celebrate love. How did you change from Garrett Dutton to G Love? Was it because you wanted to share your love, or?
It was my first name was Garrett, so I always, people always call me G, or G something or other. And then, when I really got into my music, and I started as a street performer in Philadelphia and then in Boston.
Right.
And I wanted to have a stage name because my influences were in the Delta blues and in hip hop. So everybody that I was influenced by had a name, a stage name, like Mississippi John Hurt or KRS-One or Muddy Waters, or Q-Tip. So
right.
To me, it was like a natural thing to have a stage name, because Garrett Dutton sounded pretty. The
mix of names you put out there shows your influence. It's so broad, from blues to hip hop to rap to everything. You break all the boundaries. There's no rules for you.
Yeah, and so then when we made the first time I came up with G Love, I actually had made a tape that I was going to sell out of my guitar case when I was busking, and I went down to Revere outside of Boston to the tape duping place, and the guy said, "What do you want to call it?" And I said, "Call it G Love." Oh yeah. So that was the first time I started calling myself G Love. And then shortly after, I met my band, and my drummer said, "Well, what do you want to call the band?" I go, "I want to call it Special Sauce." And he goes, "It's got to be G Love and something." I go, "Okay, G Love and Special Sauce."
And as simple as that. Yeah. It's a great name.
Thank you.
I love it.
Yeah, but it does, just to your point, it encompasses, the hip hop vibe, but also the blues vibe because you could have like Little Ed and the Imperials or Little Charlie and Nightcaps, G Love and Special Sauce. So there was always like that kind of you know synchronicity with the hip hop and the blues. People would say, the name kind of stood out. And a matter of fact, people either reacted kind of strongly to it. As a matter of fact, we were trying to find a record deal. There's one record company, TVT Records. They sent us back a letter. They said, we really like the music, but you'd have to change the name of the band.
Oh, no.
If we were going to sign you. But luckily, we found someone that just wanted to sign us as is.
You put your foot down. Wow. Well, besides incorporating all styles of music into your music, you also go into the visual arts. How did that start out with? Obviously it's graffiti kind of inspired and love inspired. When did you start making visual art?
So first, when I perform, I would always sit, because that's style like the bluesman. So I would have a chair like this, and I would, paint it. I would decorate them, and they look pretty cool. And so somebody said, oh, can I buy that chair that you had at the yeah, okay, sure. So I sold a chair, go to the thrift store, get another chair.
What would you put on the chair?
I would just graffiti on them. I would write G Love all over them, or I'd write blues chair.
It was so people knew where you were gonna sit, right?
Yeah.
Don't sit there. This is G Love.
Well, no, it's on the stage,
Yeah.
And so I basically it started becoming a thing, and I would sell them. And that's an interesting thing about music and visual art is the aspect of selling your work, because you first do it out of a passion and a joy, and then if someone wants to buy it, you're like, well, that's pretty cool. So I started selling the chairs, and then I buy new chairs at the thrift store. And then one day when I was at the thrift store, I saw like an old painting of a cat or something, and I took it. I said, well, let me paint on that. So I started doing. And I take this painting of a cat, and the woman at the register, that's such a nice painting of a cat. I said, oh, you don't know what I'm about to do this painting. And so
you would paint over
old canvases.
So that's back to your graffiti, painting over something.
That's right. And so I started doing that, and then I said I would go to the art store to get art supplies, and I said, well, let me just get some canvases. So then I started actually doing painting on canvases. I've been doing it now for, I don't know, probably about almost 20 years. And it's been, so the paintings come with me on the road.
Yeah.
And they go on stage, and we put them all over the stage, and because they look cool on stage.
Right.
And then the stage lights make all the colors pop. Like I like to use a lot of the kind of neon fluorescent colors like this on a stage, and a black light really would pop.
Well, and I love
very cool.
The shadowing. You've got the 3 different layers of love coming out on you, so it has a dimensional effect too.
Yeah. I really enjoy the juxtaposition between the creative outlets of music and then the creative outlets of art. And of course, because music's really been my career.
Yeah.
It started as a hobby and then became my career.
Right.
The art has kind of been a hobby, but that's also it's kind of a passion.
Sure.
And the opportunity to work with you guys is wonderful.
Wow.
So the art for me is a really kind of pure outlet. I think I really enjoy doing it. It's a creative outlet other than music for me. I find it also helps my music because it keeps the creative juices flowing. In general.
I can completely relate. Being out here on the oyster farm.
Okay.
Sometimes I come from the Cape Cod Museum of Art, in my office there, and I come out here and I feel a little bit like I don't know, like I take off my business clothes, put on my Crocs and my shorts, and then come out here and get my hands dirty in the oysters, and there's nobody out here, and I just breathe the fresh air, and I'm counting the oysters and sorting, and it's a great juxtaposition from and I think you need that.
I think
It
so.
gives
Yeah,
you perspective on what you're doing in the other side, right?
absolutely. Yeah.
You want to taste my baby
I'd,
sauce?
yeah, I'd love to.
My
Wow.
baby's got sauce.
Wow. Okay.
So this is my mignonette sauce. It's made with white wine. It has
Wow.
pear vinegar,
Wow.
shallots,
Wow.
and pepper,
Beautiful.
and
Wow.
it's my favorite.
Well, that's delicious. You can really taste the pear too.
Yeah.
No other pear can compare. Those oysters are great.
Back to nature. Nice.
Wow. I'll try the cocktail sauce too.
Yeah, that's homemade too. Just horseradish, and touch of Tabasco, a little pepper, nice ketchup.
Man, that's good. Wow. That's delicious.
The one thing about oystering that's also very rewarding is that it's one of the very few things I've found in the world where it has all benefits. You know, it's cleaning the extra nutrients out of the water.
Yeah.
It's providing income for all these farmers out here. It also provides nutrients and nourishment, and very healthy food to eat.
Yeah.
And it provides habitat for a lot of creatures out
Sure.
here. That this area would be almost like a desert, just sand, and not a whole lot of life going on out here. But with these cages, you get all these different animals that live amongst the oysters in the cages. So it has all plus.
Yep.
And that's one of the wonderful things about oyster farming is it just has so many benefits, and I like to be part of it. So every year you get like pinky fingernail size babies, and so these have been growing in these bags, and so these are the babies. You basically are taking the babies, splitting them into more bags, and keep on giving them more room to grow. And as they grow, you can have less fine mesh, so you have different mesh cages, and you obviously don't want them to fall out. So as they grow, you can have larger and larger mesh, and the largest mesh is this 1 inch mesh. And we open up this cage. There's the bigger oysters inside, and so most of the time you're spending is dividing the oysters, giving them more room to grow, and then eventually culling the oysters, which is the verb they use for finding the ones that are the right size to go to market. And
what is that right size?
it's 2.5 inches for the petites, and 3 inches for the select or the market size.
Here's the Cape Cod.
Yeah.
And the Cape Cod Museum of Art. Thank you, Benton.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Cheers.
I see dreams that's in your eyes. I catch love from your smile. Hope is in your pores. Oh, baby, won't you stay for a while?